Okay, this video was sent to me on the Facebook Performance Speed Lab page, and then the guy's asking me to give my thoughts on this video. I viewed it, and then for legal reasons, when I talked to my lawyer, we are blurring the video, we are altering the voice, we will not say the channel name, we will not even say the video title name. But suffice to say that the entire gist of this video is him saying that these are the reasons why you should not remap your car. So this is my reaction video to that.
Usapan natin ngayon guys kung ano ba yung tinatawag na remap. Kasi nung ako ay nagpalit ng performance filter, air filter, ay marami sa inyo nag-comment na baka magpa-remap ako sa susunod na video ko. Ipapaliwanag ko sa video ito kung bakit hindi ako magpapa-remap ng aking engine.
So he says that after changing the air filter, some of his subscribers said that, oh, you should do a remap next. So this is his video saying why he will not do a remap.
Okay guys, yung remap o yung tinatawag na chipping, engine tuning, etc. Parehas lang yan, ay ginagawa sa mga modernong sasakyan sa ngayon. Lahat ng mga modernong sasakyan ay merong mga tinatawag na ECU. Siguro narinig nyo na yun, yung ECU.
He's basically explaining what remap is, and he's saying that every modern car has an ECU, and in that aspect, he's kind of correct.
At yung ECU na yan, yung pinaka-brain ng ating engine, kung saan nandun nakakode yung mga parameters na dinisenyo ng mga car manufacturers para maging reliable ang mga sasakyan.
Okay, so he's saying that the ECU is designed by the car manufacturer with the parameters for it to be reliable. So far, so good.
Yung mapping o yung tuning, parang ino-overclock yung computer. Alam niyo yung pag-overclock ng computer, di ba? Parang ganun. Dahil tulad lang natin, ano? Parang ganun siya. So, ibig sabihin, yung tuner, merong dedicated na software, maraming software sa market, EQTech, etc. Ginagamit nila para i-override yun, palitan yung mga...
So far, so good. I use this example also. He says that tuning is just like overclocking the car's CPU or overclocking your desktop. Back in the old days when you run a 80486 and you want more performance out of it, you can overclock it to get more performance. So, and then there's several overclocking software also, that's correct. So the same way that there's also several remapping software.
Stock na program doon sa ECU. So anong purpose? Para ma-reach niya yung pinaka-capacity, yung potential ng engine ninyo. So ibig sabihin guys, kapag in-override yung system na yon, yung program na iyon doon sa ECU ninyo, magkakaroon ng power increase sa inyong engine.
Well, yes, that's why we want to do remap, because number one, you want more power, and that's not exactly complete or correct, because there are other things also. It's not just the power of the engine. Because you have to understand, most of the time that you guys are driving, I would guesstimate 99% of the time, you are never at full power. And 4 out of 5 people here in the shop, I do ask, have you taken your engine to red line? They answer never. So even in normal driving, you are not experiencing the full power of the engine. And aside from that, there's also things like throttle delay. There's also things like low boost level at the lower RPMs and so on and so forth. So it's not just about power.
Ngayon, dito nagkakaroon ng problema. Kasi kapag remap kayo ng inyong ECU, hindi naman basta-basta ganun yun. Marami dapat kayong i-consider bago kayo magpa-remap. At yun na nasabihin ko sa inyo kung bakit hindi kayo dapat magpa-remap ng engine ninyo, ng inyong sasakyan. Pero syempre, nasa inyo yun, sa inyong mga nasa discretion ninyo kung gusto nyo magpa-remap o hindi. Syempre kayo.
This is the first red flag. He says that this is a problem when you remap the car, but doesn't give any specifics on why it's going to happen. And disclaimer number 2, which is what I will outline in this video. But at the end of the day, it's your choice, it's your decision.
So ito ay aking opinion lamang. So ano ba yung mga disadvantages kapag nagpa-remap kayo ng inyong sasakyan? So ang unang-unang disadvantage ng pag-remap ng engine ay ini-increase nyo yung probability na masira ang inyong engine. Oo, kapag nilalagay nyo sa limit ang potential ng inyong sasakyan, ng inyong engine, malamang na masira ito. Kakaroon kayo ng injector leaks, baka mag-blown engine pa kayo at everything. Maraming pang mga pwede mangyari sa inyong engine kapag nagpa-remap kayo.
First point is already wrong. No, remapping will not shorten the life of your engine. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, 99% of your entire driving is never done at full power. And realistically, how often can you do full power on an engine in a street car? Even here, if you go to NLEX, SLEX, you cannot be on full power for more than 1 minute. Full throttle, 1 minute traveling. It's physically impossible. You will either run out of road or you will have a car in front of you. Even if you do it in the dead of night, it's not a straight road, so no. And even if it's not full power, no, it will not blow up either. And the reason why is this: most modern engines all have these various sensors around, and these sensors work on a 0 to 5 volts. So before you're able to physically do something that will mechanically damage the engine, that particular sensor, let's say it's either be the map sensor or the mass airflow sensor, will throw you a check engine light because either one, you threw in too much fuel, you overboost it, etc., etc., etc. That check engine light will come first and make the car go into limp or safety mode. So no, it is impossible for you to blow up a stock car or even a mildly modified car just through remapping.
Lalong-lalo na kung hindi nyo alam yung inyong ginagawa. Kaya kung gusto nyo magpa-remap, I suggest na magpa-remap kayo sa inyong trusted mechanic lang, no? So sa isang trusted auto shop lang.
No, your trusted mechanic cannot do remap. There's only a few selected people here in the entire country that can do remap. I can count them here. These are the guys that I know that can do a good job and trust them to do it. We're one of them. There's 4 other people. If it's not these 4 other people, no. It is not the battery mechanic or the part supplier or the suspension supplier or the body kit supplier. None of these people can do remap. Number 1, they're not smart enough. Number 2, they don't have the training to do so. And number 3, they don't have a dyno. And even if they do, they don't know how to operate any of them.
Kasi kapag hindi nyo alam kung ano yung tinitweak nyo sa ECU ninyo, nagbabayad lang kayo, ay malamang na masira ang inyong engine. Yung ikalawa guys, ay napakamahal magpa-remap. Alam nyo ba guys na ang remapping ay depende sa sasakyan? So kung ang inyong sasakyan ay diesel, tulad ko, Montero, o anumang SUV, ang pa-remap ay 20,000 pataas. So napakamahal ano guys?
His second reason is actually kind of bonkers too. He's saying that for you to remap a car, it's very expensive. It's 20,000 pesos and above, so about $400 and above. That is actually on the low-end scale of things. And if you follow my channel, if you've seen the kinds of cars we do here, $400 or 20,000 pesos, well, we charge 25,000 with the dyno, is nothing to these people. These cars come here with front and rear bumpers, with big 35-inch tires, with bull bars, with LED lights, all of that. Remapping is the least cost among everything that they've spent on the car already. Even a set of wheels and tires is a lot more expensive than just a remap. And it's not just for diesels. Even if you have a lowly Honda City, a set of wheels and tires will cost you 40,000 bucks. 17 inches, that's on the average. It's about $900. The remap is still a lot cheaper than that. So no, it is not expensive.
Hindi practical na magpa-remap. Saka kung ini-increase nito yung
And he says it's not practical. No, it is very practical. Nobody walks out of here sad or unsatisfied after they've driven it. It may not be practical for you because, like you just said, you can't fathom spending 20,000 bucks for more power. Okay.
ito yung probability na masira ng inyong sasakyan na magpaparemap. Kung naibibigay naman ng stock na
And he just repeats your engine will get blown. Once again, no, it will not get blown.
yan na magpaparemap. Kung naibibigay naman ng stock na ECU, yung talagang kailangan mo dun sa sasakyan, di ba? So yun yung pangalawa, napakamahal magparemap.
Then we proceed to the third reason.
Ang pag-upgrade ng inyong sasakyan. Oo, hindi lang tuner ang babayaran ninyo. Kung hindi kailangan nyo rin i-consider yung upgrades ng inyong mga sasakyan. Kasi kapag nagpa-remap kayo, ibig sabihin more power yan. Kaya hindi kaya ng stock components ng inyong sasakyan yan. So ano ba yung mga i-increase ninyo o yung i-improvise ninyo ng mga components ng inyong sasakyan?
It's basically saying that in order for you to remap, you need to upgrade your stock stuff because the stock stuff cannot handle the extra power. So we just mentioned exhaust, intake, or performance filter, engine piping.
Ang inyong sasakyan, sa air intake niyo, gagawin yung aluminum yan o stainless para makaya niya yung pressure na nanggagaling sa turbo. Yung intercooler ninyo, palalakihin nyo yan, hindi kaya ng stock yan. So, gastos na naman yun. At yung EGR ninyo, i-delete ninyo.
Hey, falsehoods, absurd falsehoods. You can absolutely 1,000,000% remap a completely stock car and the stock components are fine with it. You don't need to upgrade your intake, you don't need to upgrade your exhaust, you don't need to upgrade your intercooler, your brakes, your tires, nothing. You can take a 1,000,000% stock car, remap it, and it will give you power. You don't have to do any of these things and it will not lessen reliability. And saying about the EGR delete, no, you do not delete the EGR. You cannot physically remove the EGR and expect the car to work. No, it does not work that way. The reason why you see people doing all of these things, changing the exhaust and the intercooler pipings into a bigger intercooler, is because they want more power than what just the remap gives. And actually, the only power things that give power is actually the exhaust. The intercooler, it depends on the car. If you're starting off with a, say, an old Toyota 2.5 Innova or an old 2.5 Fortuner, those things don't have any intercooler to begin with. So adding an intercooler and then doing a remap will get you more power than just remapping a completely stock Fortuner. The same way that if you have a stock Fortuner and one with an upgraded exhaust and then you remap it, the one with the exhaust will have more power than the one without the exhaust. So it's not a matter of you need to upgrade these things. No, you don't. And as far as the EGR deleting, no, that's not the correct term. What we do with remapping is we disable the EGR from ever opening again. So that's not deleting it. Deleting is literally physically taking it away. But that's one of the other things when we do it. Because people keep asking, are you going to get rid of the EGR? Will that throw check engine? So no. Because the EGR works this way. It's a valve that opens and closes, and that opens and closes. There's only a certain amount of throttle and certain RPM that it does. It is open to let exhaust gases go back into the intake only during idling, light throttle, and to about 15% pedal. Any of these conditions that are not that EGR is closed because the way that it's programmed is if you are just crawling around traffic, your aim is to save as much fuel as possible. That's why the EGR is there and to lessen the emissions. But if you have more than 15% throttle, the computer assumes that, okay, there's enough road, you want more power, we'll give you power. That's why the EGR closed this, and then no exhaust gas goes in to mix in with the fresh intake air. And by the way, pretty much only diesels have EGRs. Hondas have it too, but they don't require any shutting down or cleaning because it's never dirty. It's a gasoline car.
Ganun din sa exhaust system. Meron din kayong i-upgrade sa exhaust system. Kapag stock kasi, meron tinatawag na cut yun, no? Catalytic converter. Minsan, o kadalasan, kapag nag-upgrade kayo, nag-remap kayo, tinatanggal yun.
Yes, we delete the cat when we have a full 3-inch exhaust, which makes the car more powerful and louder.
Ang ginagawa ng mga nagre-remap, nalagay nila yung full exhaust system o kaya yung naka-downpipe. So, magastos din yan guys.
Okay, so here we go again to this reason number 2. It's expensive again. In the grand scheme, well, let's compare again. Our Remap is 25 grand. Our exhaust is around 30 grand. So it's about $600 to $800, $900, depending on how many tips you want and how much customization you want. But once again, in the grand scheme of things, it is still not expensive. If you have money for wheels and tires and bull bars and lights and body kits and any of that sort, remapping an exhaust is not expensive.
Bilis na siya tumakbo, hindi kaya ng preno ninyo yung stock ng brake ninyo, yung power ng sasakyan. Kaya kailangan nyo i-upgrade din yung inyong braking system at napakamahal.
Now he's telling you that you need to change your braking system because your stock brakes are not enough no more to handle the extra power of your car. Well, in fairness, this is the very, very common misconception among people, not just him. Think of it this way. When you're in the car and then say you're traveling 150, 160 kilometers per hour, in stock form, then you hit the brakes, the car slows down. When you remap, it does not and when you brake, actually when you remap, okay, fine, you have more power and all of that. But when you hit 160 and you take your foot off the gas pedal to step on the brake pedal, the total amount of power that your car is making is zero. You're not accelerating anymore. Braking power and the ability to brake does not care how much power your engine has. All it cares about is what speed you are right now and how heavy your vehicle is. And that has not changed. Let me repeat. Braking is determined by what speed you're going and how heavy your vehicle is. See what I mean? If you're able to brake at 160 before, you're still able to brake at 160 now, even at 170 and 180. What actually changes is how fast you get to 160. That's the only thing that changes. It is the human's perception of acceleration and speed, but the physics remain the same. There is no additional braking required to brake at 160. Bigger brakes, actually, here's what they do. They shorten the reaction time of you, the human. Since your reaction time is shorter, going faster, bigger brakes enable you to shorten your reaction time going slower. But physically, as far as the physics is concerned, your stock brakes can still brake you. It is not that when you remap it, you step on the brake does not work. No, it does not work that way.
Din yung inyong braking system at napakamahal guys ng aftermarket ng mga performance brakes. So yung mga dapat inyo i-consider kapag nagpa-remap kayo.
This part is not wrong, especially for SUVs. The cheapest big brake upgrade you can get is a set of oversized rotors. Well, it's about $800, $900. So it's more expensive than a Remap. It's more expensive than an exhaust. And then if we're talking about Brembo brakes, and then yeah, they're in the $3,000 and up dollar category. So this part is not wrong. And at this part, I agree. Yes, it's very expensive. But do you absolutely need it? No, you don't.
Yung ikapat guys ay may kinalaman sa insurance ng inyong sasakyan at sa warranty. Oo, kapag ka naka-remap ang inyong sasakyan, tataas ang insurance rate ng inyong sasakyan. So gastos na naman.
This is what he's talking about. Insurance is basically how insurance works is this way. You can declare anything you want to insure in your car. The insurance does not care if your car is remapped or not, as long as you declare the value of your car. Your insurance, any insurance company that you have now will say you have a set of expensive book racing wheels you bought at $150,000. You want to insure that? Go ahead. You can put it in your policy. So your car's market value, say it's like $1 million. And then I want to insure my set of wheels, $150,000. You add that. I want to insure my fancy ass audio system, you add that, so on and so forth. The insurance will just charge you a corresponding amount of premium for all the declared value that you did on your car. But if you don't want to add that 25 grand to remap, then simply don't declare it.
At yung sasakyan ninyo kapag bago-bago pa, na 3 years below, eh siguradong void ang warranty ng inyong sasakyan. So i-consider nyo rin yan kapag gusto nyo magpa-remap ng inyong sasakyan.
This is a bit of a, this is a yes and a no answer. Here in the Philippines, no, the dealer will not know that your ECU is tuned because number one, they don't have the equipment to tell if it's remapped or not. I can tell because I know in our remap software, and then it applies to certain cars. There is such a thing as a reprogram count. So it normally starts at 1 because that's when you initially program the ECU, and then it gets added on as you load in the files and all of that. But here's the thing about it. The dealer itself can program the ECU, especially what we encounter with Ford or Mitsubishi. Sometimes remapping Fords can be a bit of a pain in the ass because the file gets corrupted or whatnot. So we need to be able to reload that original file. Or actually sometimes Ford also does this. They have several ECU updates that they give you for free or under warranty and all of that. And those things add to the reprogram count. So it does not mean automatically, assuming that they can see that reprogram count number and they know it starts with 1. And then when they see number 2 or 3, they will assume, oh, that's automatically remap. Warranty is voided. No, not necessarily. That reprogram count 2 or 3 might have come from a dealer as well. And it will log it in as being reprogrammed, not by any tuner, but by the dealership itself. So no, it's not an absolute cut and dried method to say that, oh, it's been reprogrammed a few times, warranty is voided. The guy could have gone to another dealer, had the service done there, and then moved to another house and have the service done in another dealer. And these dealers don't talk to each other anyway. So it's a bit of a gray area. That's what we do for Fords and for Hondas. For Toyotas, there's no such thing. For Mitsubishi, some models have it, some models don't. So no, for all intents and purposes, the dealer will not know. Or if he knows, he does not know what to do with the information.
Yung ikalimang dahilan kung bakit di maganda magpa-remap ay lalakas sa konsumo ng diesel o gas.
Oh, then this really tells me that this guy does not know anything. He's saying that if you remap your car, your gas consumption will be more.
O maraming nagsasabi kapag ka nagpa-remap daw, meron daw silang pagkakataon na makatipid ng fuel. Pero hindi ko totoo yun, no? Kapag ka nagpa-remap kayo, sigurado.
Oh, okay. If you remap a car, 1,000% you will have more consumption. Okay. I'll give this as a two-part answer. So we have customers who scratch their heads and say, you're adding fuel. So that means, dumadami yung crudo to the engine. Why? How in the world do you save fuel then? Okay, this is the explanation why. When we remap cars and they're on the dyno, these are almost always at full throttle pulls. So meaning that the pedal is to the floor, and then the region that we adjust is the upper RPM or upper throttle limit. So then normally 60% and more throttle. So that's where we get the power. But the thing is, we adjust other areas too aside from full throttle. We adjust part throttle, we adjust the throttle delay, and all of that. So the reason why you actually save fuel in normal driving situations, meaning that you do not go racing with your SUV every single time and rev it to red light every single time. If you do that, then yes, I guarantee you, you will consume a lot more fuel. But once again, it's a street car. It is impossible for you to do that in traffic or in normal situations where you are just between 1,000 to 2,000, maybe 2.5 RPM. What happens after remapping, especially with diesels, is you have a lot more torque and a lot more boost at the low end of the RPM scale. So before, when you step on the pedal this much, you get this much power. Now, after remapping, you step on the pedal half, you get the same power. And that half pedal is actually what contributes to the better mileage. Remember, the single most important factor in determining fuel economy is not the engine, not the fuel, not the tuning, not anything. It is your right foot on the gas pedal. So the less pedal you step to get the speed you want, well, the more tipid or the less fuel you will consume, which leads to better mileage. So no, you are wrong. Reason number 6, apparently, just one more.
Naturally aspirated ang inyong engine. Hindi nyo mafe-feel yung difference kapag walang turbo ang inyong engine.
He's saying that if you have a naturally aspirated engine, meaning it's a non-turbo engine, you will not feel the remap. 1,000% totally not true. Yes, you will feel it even if you have a puny 1.2 liter Honda Brio like what I drive. You will feel it. It is not true. And the other thing that I'm surprised he did not say that if you have an automatic car, it's useless to remap because you will feel it. Hello, 90% of all cars right now are automatic, and then you will feel it even if it is a small 1 liter Mirage. Granted, it might not be, well, sulit or commensurate because for the same 25 grand, and when you remap a diesel, you get 40, 50, maybe 60 horses. If I remap a 1.8 liter Civic, I get anywhere from 8 to 15. Yes, you will feel 8 to 15. Just for reference, 5 horsepower is equal to 125cc bike. So 15 horses is adding 3 of those bikes to your car. you will definitely feel that. You feel the 5 horsepower on that little scooter. You will definitely feel it on your car. And just for a reference point, he put in a K&N filter. He did a video on this one, and I don't need to see it, but I'm sure he said that there is a improvement. That actual drop-in K&N filter, that little thing, gave him an additional 3 to 4 horses. So that tells me either he does not know what horsepower is, he's lying about what he felt, or most likely he just doesn't know what horsepower is.
Yung engine. So ang remapping ay walang kwenta.
It's not a useless mod, you just don't know how to do it. No, remap is not ideal for turbo engines only. On that aspect, we actually have here a bike dyno with 400cc, 600cc bikes. These things have no turbo, and are you telling me that the guys who remap these bikes are all lying to you? Of course not.
Kung naturally aspirated ang inyong engine, o kailangan nyo pang magpa-turbocharge. Lagyan ng turbo.
Oh God, you need to turbocharge your naturally aspirated engine in order to remap. My God, this is amazing. This is total BS. So apparently, this guy has never heard of the venerable Honda B series. No turbo, natural aspirated, with a tune, you get big power. My gulay.
Ang inyong mga engines, which is napaka-mahal na naman yun. Yung huling
Once again, he really just has to stick it to the point that it is expensive.
disadvantage ng pagre-remap ay hindi natin alam kung ano yung magiging resulta ng remapping. Oo, baka ina-expect ninyo na mas gaganda ang performance ng inyong sasakyan, oo nga. Pero ang tanong, magiging reliable ba siya? Kung hindi natin alam, questionable yung magiging result ng remapping.
What he's talking about here is that you don't know what, well, as he's saying that you, the customer, does not know what's happening during the remap. This is particular and what the outcome will be. This actually is more directed towards the people who I call copy-paste remappers. These people don't do any tuning because it's literally what they do. Here's what happens. Remapping has 2 kinds of software. You have a reader-writer, and then you have an editor. So he's referring to the people with only the read and write software. So all they do is read the ECU, then they email that file to somebody else, we don't know, local or in Thailand or in Malaysia, wait for an email back, and then write that file back into the ECU. So yes, in that aspect, you and even the guy doing the actual writing has no idea what happened. He does not know what values are inside, what parameters have been changed, and since these guys don't have any dyno, you don't know how much horsepower that you have. That's true. This is why you avoid these kinds of people also.
Yung sasakyan, mas maganda na keep it stock na lang, di ba? Kasi kapag in-overboost ang inyong engine o yung limits niya, yung pinaka-potential niya ay talagang gusto nyong ma-meet, hindi nyo alam kung ano ang pwedeng mangyari sa inyong engine. Baka
if you overboost a diesel engine, it will throw you a check engine light, and that check engine light, when you scan it, will say map sensor or turbo pressure overboost. So no, you cannot overboost a modern diesel engine. It simply will not happen. And that pretty much tells you what the maximum is. And these things you will not find out unless you have a dyno, and then you have the proper equipment to scan if there is a check engine. And more importantly, if you scan the check engine and you read it, you understand what you're actually reading.
ang lifespan ng inyong engine at hindi kayo mag-enjoy.
Once again, your engine lifespan will not become shorter.
Pero na lang siguro kung talagang car enthusiast kayo, mayaman kayo, marami kayong pera, laruan lang yung masasakyan, laruan lang sa iyo.
So this is the disclaimer. Well, you're free to do what you want if you're a really rich kid and cars are just toys for you, which once again reiterates the point, you have no money.
Sige, halimok kayo. Pero kung tayo...
Then this comes the final disclaimer. At the end of the day, this is my opinion. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. He can't even stick by to what he says.
Hindi nyo alam ang remapping, wala kayo masyadong alam sa remapping. Mas maganda na keep your car stock na lang, okay?
Okay, if you don't know anything about remapping, keep your car stock. Oh, the other thing, if you don't know about remapping, do not ask this guy. Because he definitely knows nothing. If I can do a triple face palm, I will. So there you have it. One video on the internet that you don't have to listen to, and definitely don't take his advice because it's all wrong. He does not know what he's talking about, and he does not know anything. Yeah.